Derivatives trading. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. What is derivatives? What are derivatives? What was I saying there? Okay, so before we get into the charts, I just want to note we're here at 31.22.5. That is where I want it. Let's see if we get a fill. That might not be big. That might not be the right spot. This is not doing it. Okay, so here yesterday, huge move up. Notice there was some weird behavior at sorry, let's do the 10-year. Yeah, huge move up at 22.5, and kind of some weird behavior there. They moved up. They came back to balance. This is the balance area. So anything that we get above, if we want to buy this, we could get it anywhere below here, especially below 22.5, would be great. I'm a little concerned just because I'm looking at the DOM. I see 2,000 there. There is a spot. I think that there could probably be a stop run here before the open. But we'll see. Let's see if it gives us a signal here. All right. It's kind of giving us a signal in the 5-year, kind of. So we might be able to buy it here. So anyways, on the chart, E-mini had a big move down originally, but then came back up. And the reason that we're getting is because they expect them to reduce rates, which, and yeah, I don't know about that one. So this sets up an interesting opportunity for us because today we've got this news that's about to come out. Well, at the bottom of the hour, so we got about 15 minutes. Okay, trade balance, average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate. Okay, average hourly earnings is always a big number for treasuries. We're looking for a reading of spot 3 with a previous reading of spot 4. If that ended up disappointing, if that was at spot 2, these things are moving hard in all likelihood. Okay, see, they took it. They're not taking 22.5. Now, the non-farm employment change, they're expecting 145. It is extremely unlikely. It is extremely unlikely that we get 145. I would not be surprised if we get below 100. But the problem that you have in this situation is because the numbers were so bad earlier in the week, everybody is expecting this number to disappoint. And so you have a little conundrum there because you can't just go over and sell the E-mini, right? Because it could come out and be 135, and then they decide, oh, that's not so bad, and they actually end up buying the E-mini off of that, for all we know. So that it's kind of a it's kind of a tough call. Even after the news hits, it might be a tough call about what direction we're going to go. We might get something that pushes both sides and is really whippy. So we're going to be careful. But if you can get a good position beforehand, that's why I'm kind of like that the treasuries are pushing down in here, right? This is going to give, if you wanted to buy, it might give us a good risk-reward position. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But alas, it's kind of not doing it in a way that I am entirely comfortable with taking. Donald Trump, as president, I have an obligation to end corruption, even if that means requesting the help of a foreign country or countries. It is done all the time. This has nothing to do with politics or a political campaign against Biden. This does have to do with their corruption. Just when watching that situation over the past 2 days, it seems to me that the administration has been doing a very good job pushing back. And in fact, this morning, um, this morning, so yesterday they were saying, oh, Donald Trump also said stuff to China already in things, and Elizabeth Warren was like, release the transcripts of those, which is, oh my gosh, so damaging to national security, frankly. That now we're at that point, because they want to release transcripts related to trade talks, essentially. Um, and then this morning they're saying, there was a meeting with Ukraine, and it seems that the ambassador was kind of saying before they did the meeting that they have to do some investigation or something. So they're already moving on to the next shoes because it's not working very well. But that could that they have more shoes lined up should be very concerning for the president, isn't it? So that's kind of my read on that particular piece of politics right now. See, they're not okay. So there's the open. A bunch hit into 23 and they just totally absorbed it all. Seems like somebody wants it lower. There's a really big iceberg at 22.5 as well, though, which totally makes sense. So now we'd have to take 23. Should have just done it. I don't know. That's still not quite behaving quite right. Maybe it's just better we not try and play this one. Maybe I'm being a little overly anxious about trying to get long into this before the news. 10 minutes. Maybe we should just wait and see what happens. Huh? If I had had that would have been great, right? There's a little bit too much iceberging in this area, though.
YouTube, Michael XZ. So if the NFP is bad like expected, but not worse than expected, what are we expecting to happen?
So here's how you play this. So first of all, you got the number, okay? The consensus number is 145, okay? But the numbers earlier in the week were so bad that already makes it more likely that these numbers are going to be bad. So let's decrease that. Let's say that the expectation is probably more like 140, 135, okay? So let's just discount that already for us. Then you have to come in and look at which way are people taking positions. Okay, the positioning matters a lot. At the moment, there appears to be two-way flow. But there is buying for sure, and I think that the buyers at the moment slightly more, although we're not seeing it in the cumulative delta yet. They're pulling. Look at how light the liquidity is. That's not good. Okay, but there are some people taking some positions. I suspect that these are probably not. Probably some of the bigger people are going to be getting involved afterwards. So but we have 10 minutes. So let's see. If we see some big positions, like let's say that we see some really big buying, okay? Like really big buying. And then the number comes out and it's 145. Okay. then we're gonna sell because those people are gonna exit those positions and we're gonna move down in the treasuries. That is. Okay, so that's the sort of the game that you gotta play. Is you gotta say, what's the expectation? What is the number? How different was it from the expectation? What were people's positionings going into it? And does that coincide with or contradict what people's positions were? Ergo, which side has to liquidate their positions and move us in the direction that we move?
YouTube, Lucas, morning.
Good morning, Lucas. With this kind of a number, though, man, I mean, like, let's say, for instance, it comes out, the number is below 100,000. I actually think there's a really good chance of that happening. That's probably going to light the fire up and under enough people that we could just go straight up, you know? But let's say that it's closer. Let's say that it's really like 135. Then you might get something where we have an initial push up and they come back really quickly and they seesaw back and forth a ton and make it really difficult for everybody. It looks though like that they are buying price up. They're doing it very subtle. Like the cumulative delta is even, but see how they're pushing it up. I wonder if they're going to make it to 26.5 before the liquidity is light all the way up to there. That iceberg at 22.5 is where I wanted to get in.
Lucas, Fed speakers today, huh?
Yeah,
YouTube,
that's another
Michael
good point.
XC. I remember the pundits saying at the ISM manufacturing came out that, don't worry, services are strong and they are 90% of our economy, lol.
No, and that number really disappointed too. Well, all of the numbers disappointed. I mean, the thing is, I think the reason why you hear people say that, though, Michael, is just because, yes, these numbers are bad, but these numbers are not like a recession is guaranteed. You know what I mean? But it's going to be, the treasuries are going to be really particularly sensitive to it because the chances of them doing, a rate cut now are super high. In fact, I think if we can come over here to the CME group and we can look at it, I'm sure that they've already fully priced in 2 rate cuts this year. Ooh, they've changed their website. FedWatch. Okay. So, current rate is 175,200. The target, or what they believe will happen in the October meeting, with 85% that they will increase it again. Okay, so then if we go to December, that's 150. Maybe I need to make this bigger. Okay, so they are now saying 50% of 1 and 50% of 2. I actually think that is a little too low. I think that this is, if this non-farms number comes out and is bad, that this could go to 60-70%. And we could start seeing people starting to say that we're actually going to do 110. Well, in January, are they saying that? Yeah, 20% chance of 100 to 125. So that's where that comes in. But then you've got the Fed speakers. So you kind of got this other thing where we'll get a move, and then there will be a lot of chaos, and then it will probably seem unresolved because people are going to be, especially since the president is going to be speaking. So, yeah.
YouTube, Michael XC. Okay. Less than 3 minutes to go. YouTube, the Bitcoin SV channel. Shit, he ain't even bought the real Bitcoin. YouTube, the Bitcoin SV channel. Winking face.
The Bitcoin SV channel. You gotta be kidding me, dude. You gotta be kidding me. No offense, dude, but you are dumb. You're really dumb. If you're buying Bitcoin SV, because that Craig Wright guy that controls that coin is a complete nut job. I cannot believe anybody would want to buy that. I digress though. You're trying to distract me. We can after the non-farms, let's talk about it, huh? Okay. So make sure you're on limit orders, folks. This is already getting woo. Let's just refresh our memory.
YouTube, the Bitcoin SV channel. You just come up on the recommendations.
We got spot
YouTube,
3%.
the Bitcoin SV channel. He's got 800 patents.
Yeah. Hold on, we'll talk about that in a bit. Let me mute you guys for a bit, okay? Because this is super, super important. Spot 3% for average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change 145. Those are the expectations, okay? I'm gonna let it go. I'm not gonna click. It's gonna move too fast. Non-farms can just be absolutely insane, okay? They bought. It actually didn't go that far. Now they're going down, yeah, so very whippy. 136. Okay, so this is what I was saying earlier, right? We already discounted it. So which way do you take it now? It's going to be a little bit unsure because neither side necessarily has to liquidate. But we're going to see. We're going to see now here in the flow. What do people do? Well, the initial move was up, and then that almost completely erased, right? So for us, I think that it's best for us to wait until the big orders come back in. Okay, they can make a new low there. This could cause chop. Also, Fed speakers might not look good yet. Okay, average hourly earnings was 0? Wait a second. Really? Okay. So, just based on those numbers that I'm reading right there, I would prefer a long. They've got to give me a signal first, though. But I would strongly prefer a long, based on the average hourly earnings being 0. See that they're pushing down? That doesn't. It contradicts the news, I think. So be on the lookout for shenanigans here. So there's a big order right there at 18. In this kind of action, they're usually going to go through those. He didn't get through it. They might come back and try it again. The unemployment rate, 3.5 versus a previous of 3.7. Very curious indeed, folks. Very mixed and confusing numbers. But that average hourly earnings number really sticks out to me. Okay, that time they went through the 18 easily. notice that there is more activity on the level 2. There's this big old, yeah. Okay. This is super risky. Shit. Okay. Just hands off for a little bit. Back to the 16. That's very interesting. Okay. I feel very nervous. So far, so good, though. The big orders just showed back up. Some pretty aggressive movement on both sides. Whew. Okay. He's fighting. Okay. So now they're starting to squeeze him really hard. Well, I wouldn't say really hard, but probably some people are feeling the. Was that first one 18.5? That sucks. Okay, so we're still getting a lot of market orders on both sides here. I think that some people are probably trying to play like a pullback of sorts here at 20. Man, and it went so far on the upside. I'm trying to remember where Algo Lover said the upside target was. I think that it was like past 132. I think it was like 132.16 or something. No, 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 no. We are definitely not restarting Windows here. Okay. So far, so good. What was the new? Oh, yeah, the news price was around 23. Okay. Happy. Let's just move this up in case there's some sort of super crazy news or something. So at the moment, I am seeing some evidence of sellers trying to hold it, but I do not see the overextension. The buyers are being very patient. Arisi, this would drive me insane. Hey, by the way, we can turn you guys back on. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay, but I feel extremely nervous, even though I have a good winner. I feel extremely nervous because, I might have to take it off here. I need to pay attention still. That there was a little bit of a
YouTube,
turn
Lucas,
there.
you would get used to. Humans are animals of habit, hee.
Yeah. I don't know. From what people have told me, there's still always gonna be periods of,
YouTube, Gary Rich, good morning.
hey Gary, how's it going? How's it going? I think though that we could still see some more moving up. Like, look at that. They were actually able to bring it back up pretty easily. It looks to me like the buyers have a pretty good handle on this. Do I see anything going on in the spreads? Okay, so I do see that the knob and the FYT flattened a little bit. And what about the 2 and 10? The 2 and 10 did not move. The 2 and 10 should move.
YouTube, Lucas, there's some divergence going on there between bonds and notes, further chop and not a good place to trade here.
No, I agree. Yeah, so because it's ranging around here in this area.
YouTube, Lucas, except for that long you have going on, goo LD catch.
Yeah, thank you very much. Because we're ranging in here, I could take profits in this area, and taking profits at 8 ticks is always prudent, right? When I try and let it run, it's often, I often regret it. But it's not giving me an exit. Do you see? I'm really happy though with it because the trade was a little bit like yesterday. The one that I missed, I saw it. I took it a little bit too early.
YouTube, Algo Lover, GM winking
There
face.
it is.
YouTube, Algo Lover, 8:10 p.m.
04
ZN
half.
if they maintain bid above 131, 145, then 132.045 target. If 131, 145 breaks before trading up to that target, then anticipate a deeper pullback nerd face that pop, lil shy of target, but.
Yeah, okay, so 04 half is the number that we want to see. Oh man, I don't know if I can hold it all the way up to there. Wow. You think they were going to get there, guys? They might. I think that they could. I think that number says that they could. Anyways, as I was saying.
YouTube, Lucas, how could you know that?
How could you know that? Well, so first of all, let me go back to the trade, right? I took it. I was too early. They stopped me out. Then they gave me an even stronger signal. I was super nervous because I don't want to take 2 -4s in a row. But I took it because that was the strategy, and that one worked out. Okay, now we're up. Okay, now they're giving me something, but they're giving me something
YouTube,
as they were
Lucas,
coming down.
No sorry, to Algo Lover grinning face with sweat.
All right. I don't know how he comes up with these numbers. I thought that I had some ideas about how he was doing it. I don't know where he comes up with the number.
YouTube, Algo Lover, face with tears of joy.
There certainly have been significant levels, though, in the past week, haven't they? Okay, but this one, it's coming down. Notice it's coming down and now it's pushing. So they're trying to push it down. But that means that they're there might be a little bit of a Russian. Well, I mean, that might already be it, and they might push back up. Or at least that's the probability. It's about 60% probability that's what's going to happen. This is where I was saying, like I could take +8, but I want to get back in, and that here in this area would be tough to get back in. Okay. They're gonna just come back and hunt me, aren't they? Oh man. Man, oh man, oh man. That's very disappointing. Okay. We just sit and wait for another one.
YouTube algo lover, Seth, if they stay bid above 131, 145, then they'll go back, but if it breaks, then that move is over, nerd face.
You think that up move is over? Man, I should have just taken the 8. Oh well. That'll teach me. It's not the first time that's happened to me. Well, we gotta stick with it. I am noticing down here at the bottom that there is a little bit of increased activity from the big guys again. Notice too that they didn't trade a whole lot into 18, so they really did just come back down to stop me out.
YouTube algo lover, read the post again, thinking face.
If they stay above, then they go back, but if it breaks, that move is over. Right. You're saying that the pressure is up, as far as I understand it. That it's up and that it's likely to go to 132.04 half. Totally get that. I'm a little tilted at the moment. It's clearly telling me to buy, but I don't feel like any of these spots are safe. It's not giving me as clear of a signal as the first one. I can't believe that it did that. That really sucks, man. I'm noticing that my eyes start to water when I feel stressed out. Oh, man. All right, let's just sit on our hands for a little bit. They'll give us other spots.
YouTube Arichi, what was the game plan? What did you want to see to make you take along? Or are you just reacting?
Okay.
YouTube algo lover, for crude lovers, down finger.
Hold on.
YouTube algo lover, Thursday 5:45 p.m. algo lover, CL if sellers hold this bounce below 53.15, then 50.50 target still valid. If 53.15 goes bid before trading down, then anticipate squeeze higher, nerd face still valid.
So what I want to see is stop run.
YouTube
Pushing.
ace trades morning. YouTube algo lover, gotta run, HAGWE, thumbs up.
Yeah, thank you. Increase in presence of large orders.
YouTube Lucas, move your stop to at least +5 on those trades so you take something out of those runs.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that leaving it at break even was the wrong thing, because then I might have bought it again. Well, it's giving us another push right here.
YouTube Lucas high ace. YouTube Lucas buy algo.
So they're going to try and stop it and push it back down again. So here we're getting it again. See, lots of activity. presence of large orders, but it's on the upside. 60% chance of reversal, 40% chance of a continuation. If they continue through, it could really go. All right. I've got to collect myself here. That was really unfortunate.
YouTube, Gary Rich, rule of thumb. Never leave profits on the board. If you have doubt, get out. You always re-enter.
The thing is that was a no signal drop. See? Well, when I get that, you get something, but then it's on the wrong side. So it wasn't. I never got an exit signal. Like that's the thing is that if I had been able to get in at 17, I would have held it. I mean, I would still be in it, probably.
YouTube, Arichi, how did you come up with the 60 to 40 probs?
I sat and watched it for a month and a half and tracked it every time that it happened. And that's how I got with the probability. I think in practice it comes out to be more like 50-50, but
YouTube, Talent Tree Company, hey, what's your opinion on GoPro?
you're talking about the company like the stock? I hear that I don't really pay attention to stocks very much, but it sounded like that their earnings were really bad, right? I kind of wonder if that market is
YouTube,
saturated.
Lucas, yes, probs are based on stats always.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is when I'm going through the stats, just a recommendation for you guys when you're doing statistical analysis. Remember what we were saying in the technical analysis thing, right? Is trying to use past price action as an indicator for what it's going to do here is fraught with all sorts of problems, okay? There's no reason they don't have to do anything, okay? So, but what you can, but you still want this, you still want to do the stats because you want to give yourself at least a spot where, you have, where, that there's a possibility of something happening, So if you get something and, you have stats to say it's 60-40 or whatever it is, well, I would still treat it like 50-50. But the key is not just that you can get, an about even chance of being right, but that if you are right, that it tends to go quite a bit, right? And so what we found is that in the particular spot that I'm looking for, every once in a while, you'll get one where it just goes 2 and then it turns again, and you'll usually get another signal when that happens. But usually you get 4 to 8, right? So that's the key thing that I think you want to look for when you're doing the stats is like to see if there actually is something about that spot. And it's not really a historical thing at that point. It's really more of a condition. It's a current condition that causes a high probability of a move instead of some price action sort of a thing. Okay, well, I feel a little bit better now. I don't think I could take it anywhere in here. I'm still really miffed that they went and stopped me out the way that they did. We only got 8 favorable ticks on that. That's interesting as well. Okay.
YouTube, Gary Rich, examine the options on the bonds at the probability cone and analyze the ranges in percent terms over X days, weeks, months.
Yeah, I look at the options from time to time, but I've just found that it's too involved to help me in the particular spots that I'm trading in. So this is not behaving. It's not cooperating. I think that there is a buyer that started buying from around 16 to 17 that feels very confident about it moving up based on
YouTube ace trades but
the
too
hourly
risky for me.
earnings.
YouTube Greg Orlovsky, maybe take a trade.
Not
YouTube
yet.
Greg Orlovsky, Seth, it's just an econ trade.
Yeah.
No need to worry. Usually, you get one read in. YouTube
gotcha.
ace trades, it might bounce off of 2918.75.
Yeah. Well, it just sucks because I always tell myself, well, I should take +8, but then in a situation like this where there's a real probability of it going higher, I wanted to hold it. I did. It just didn't work out. It's okay. It's okay because we had a great read and we had a great trade, right? This particular spot, while I am getting a little bit of pushing down here, it's not enough for me to be confident taking a trade yet.
YouTube Greg Orlovsky, ES. Has been to 2920 twice since the econ.
And they've been up, huh? So by the way, how well have these matched up? Not particularly well.
YouTube Greg Orlovsky, sorry for the caps.
You're fine. Okay. See, he's fighting at 18. That is not the first time that we've heard that kind of sound, right? That is somebody stacking and pulling at 19.5. An offer. And 16.5 on the other side. Right?
YouTube Gary Rich, the options will price in probabilities of moves 30, 60 days out. All assets have been moving in well-defined ranges.
Anyways, I do think that there is a larger time frame buyer in here buying on probabilities because honestly, the number that we got, okay,
YouTube Greg Orlovsky, ZB05 guy hasn't gone away since econ.
yeah, that big bid down there, you're right. Yeah, I mean the thing is that I think that the numbers could mean different things for the different instruments, right? Because they're looking at it and they're saying, okay, well, the number was bad, but it wasn't like a complete disaster. And they're buying the equities, and equities are saying, well, it's not like a for sure recession, but the Federal Reserve will probably put some money out there. And the treasuries seem to be moving a little bit just because of at least that last little move. They moved down because the equities were hitting a new high. But I say missing the personal income number is really significant. That's my take at the moment. If I can get something down here, I still want to buy if they give me another signal, but it's not quite setting up quite right. Wouldn't be surprised to see another like stop run and lower or something like that. Although the 5-year is kind of suggesting that he can't do much more at the moment. She can't do much more at the moment. There's that big order at 120 even. That's a weird sound outside I can hear. Must be like a helicopter or something. Sounds like a spaceship. Boris Johnson pledges to send a letter to European leaders requesting an extension to the Brexit deadline in the event that there's no accord, a lawyer tells a Scottish court. Okay, something has happened here. Only a marginal shift in the Fed rate odds so far. Odds were 82% before, but now they are 79.1. We did have a little bit of a run higher there. That's not necessarily my signal. Now they are pushing at 18. Tough for me to say which way on that one. It is an event, we'll say, though. It sure does seem like the sellers are having a really tough time getting any selling below 18. And there he's doing it again. This time they're going off at 20. Now icebergs on both sides.
YouTube, Gary Rich, flow of funds shows more bond buying week over week. We can test 1.4 handle on the 10 years.
I don't know where the percentages are, though. Okay. Oh, look at that. They're kind of playing a little bit of games here, though, aren't they? So I want to buy it, but when it's doing stuff like that, I can't make any sense of that. As far as I know, that's just randomness. Well, somebody might be absorbing contracts here. Well, they absorbed 1,500 at 18 at least. Still some iceberging at 18.5. Uptick. They reacted to it okay. They could try 19 again. I'm noticing though the big orders petering out again though. So this could be it, but they're not doing it they're not giving me my signal. Feel like the market maker's saying, well, Seth, you did too well earlier this week. We can't give you anything today.
YouTube Ace Trades, short 2,918.50.
Like that. Trade. I think I should focus on my treasury here, though. BMO on jobs report, it reduces the urgency behind easing. That said, the ISMs were more than sufficiently concerning to justify another cut later this month. I disagree with them. They're going to cut twice this year. I'm almost certain. We should ask Money Bunny. Well, I will ask my rabbit if there's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 rate cuts. Notice how much that 18.5 is pulling and they're not hidden.
YouTube, Gary Rich, no need for October cut for sure deck cut.
They're saying like 80% chance now of October cut. It's the December one is the one that's like 50-50. I say it should be higher. I think that there's a really good chance that they're going to. Okay, well, a little frustrated, folks. I'm a little frustrated. I am seeing some stacking at, what is with this at 17.5? See, they were starting to push there and then it ticked down. This might be a breakout. Nope.
YouTube, Ace Trades, there is your 2 points. Get some at Lucas.
Good job, guys. Okay. Now he's doing it at 16.5.
YouTube, Michael XZ, what res is your screen that we're looking at?
It's a 2K monitor, so it's like 1920 by 1440. But I downscale it to 1080 for you guys so that we can use the lower latency mode on YouTube because it doesn't support the higher resolutions. You used to do it at the full 2K, but I don't know. But the funny thing is that I don't know if the low latency mode really made a difference. It's still delayed by like 4 or 5 seconds. Okay, so there's a few into 17.5. It is doing it. Okay. I'd like to see it another move down. That's not it. So it's fighting. Okay. A little bit more aggressive that time, but still not holding. They're really working it here. Uptick. Not quite how you want that to go. Okay, 5-year ticks up. Come on. Man. I thought that that was a good uptick, but then I hate it when you get a good uptick and then it's like, where's the follow through? Nobody's buying 19. Well, that's a little better. The 5-year is still kind of a little reluctant to try and push that area again. That was a bad downtick. Okay. E-mini is starting to look a little weak. Are you still short, Ace? Very quick and strong rush into 19. I don't necessarily like quick moves like that, especially since it's like just there on the edge, but um I mean they might still have some fuel, so
YouTube Ace Trades, yes, still in.
cool. I'm just trying to get in the mode here. Take it in and calm down and see everything. And then level 2 there is flipping around a lot. Okay. There's a lot of orders going both ways, but they did tick up.
YouTube, Lucas at Ace Trades was not looking at screen, damn it. YouTube, Ace Trades, at Lucas there will be other trades.
Okay, there is a big order at 21. I think was there when we came back down through. So we've got like a stripe of targets is
YouTube,
something
Lucas,
that we
I've
see
learned a new
common.
approach though. Thanks to your advice, I am engaging more using sim on some occasions. It builds my mental state, something I couldn't do on live.
Mm-hmm. Good job. I'm glad, Lucas. Yeah, I feel like I do really well on sim, and I don't think that I trade differently when I'm on live, but it clearly affects me. I have been very clearly nervous these past 2 days in particular. So, which sucks because that kind of means that you have to practice taking the live trades more, and you can kind of, it's like before. Remember before I was like, well, I need to keep doing
YouTube,
it.
Ace Trades, at Lucas, I would keep track of those trades, learn from them.
Yeah. It's like I need to keep doing it so that I get used to the stress. No. Not this time around. I don't think that I'll do that. I'm only going to trade if I've got a really good opportunity. But I understand when I have a good opportunity a lot better now than I did then. So we'll see. We'll see. Hmm. So there was a little bit of a stop run there, 2 ticks down. Um, that's not good action. Not good action at all. But we have an okay place, and sometimes that kind of stuff can be really positive for you. If it does a stop run 2 or 3 ticks down, a stop run is always a place where it can reverse. So that means they did a stop run down to 18.5, and now they can stop and they can push up and they can make another new high potentially. Potentially. Let's see if they do. There was a little bit of robot shuffling there on that uptick. Yeah, they're doing it here. But no, they were doing this at 18 before. Now they're doing it at 19. What does that tell you? If it's a robot trying to work the bid to buy, then he's buying higher now. Oh, Donald Trump tweeted something. The whistleblower who had the facts wrong about the phone call reached out and more to the Democrat-controlled House Intelligence Committee. Schiff never told us about this. Yeah, you know what? That particular news story that Donald Trump is now pointing out to people because it hasn't gotten a whole lot of circulation in the media could end up being significant because I believe that it's against the whistleblower rules to be reaching out to, the House Intelligence Committee before filing the report.
YouTube, live action, hedge fund said one of their top traders to reduce stress would flip coin and place buy and sell stops.
Just go at it random. Well, I have a different approach to this from what I think is the common wisdom on this sort of thing, because everybody says, well, you'll get used to it. You can, do this thing to calm yourself down, etc., etc., etc. I do not believe that that's
YouTube,
possible.
Michael XZ, it was just hearsay.
Mm. I don't believe that that is possible, and I don't think that if you could, that it would be healthy. I think that you can have freedom of emotion, but you can't necessarily have freedom from emotion. You're going to get nervous, and I think that what you have to do is just reprogram your nervousness so that when you're nervous, you do the right
YouTube,
things.
Ace Trades, look at another short at 2918.00 close to open however.
Curious. We keep getting short runs stop in the treasuries, but then they hold and move back up. But they're not pushing the 20 yet. So it seems that somebody somebody is short treasuries, perhaps because they want to buy equities, but I don't know, man. I feel like yesterday was like a pullback day in ES and that there's a good chance they could just do more selling. And it's not like the employment numbers were good. The unemployment rate decreased, though. That's weird. So the non-farm employment change was 136 compared to 145. But like we said, we should discount that. So let's just say that it was in line with expectations or our expectations. Actually, I said 135, didn't I? But the unemployment rate decreased from 3.5 to 3.7.
Lucas at Ace trades, so you anticipate if it doesn't push higher from 2,919.00 and falls towards 2,918.00, a continuation of that fall is probable.
Well, I think he's saying he was short from 29.20, right? He can let it run, but it's close to the open, so he might want to think about getting out because on the open you could see a more than a 2-point move just in that one bar.
Ace trades at Lucas. No, I'm just saying I bet there is a point or two. Yeah. Lucas, and it was lol.
Because I think as a trader, I think one of the key things that you're looking for is not just a spot where it can turn, but that you have a good idea of how far it's going to go when it does. That you know that if it goes, that it's going to go further than that it's going to go to your target, and that target is further away than your stop. Okay, that was a good uptick. New high. New local high after 2 or 3 stop. Actually was 3 stop runs through all that area, wasn't it? Okay, 21 is still where the orders are, right? Yes, sir. Okay. So let's watch that 21. Because 27 is a decent amount in this kind of action. That could pull, though. Okay, so Michael wanted to talk about the whistleblower thing, and he was saying it's just hearsay. I mean, I think you're right. That could maybe be a little bit misleading just because it's more complicated than that, right? He wasn't there for the conversation. He heard it from other people, which is another question. Should he have been privy to that information? That's another really big question that we can't really answer, but I suspect the answer is maybe no. I think at the very least that says that people in the White House and in the intelligence community are sharing information with their colleagues that they're not supposed to. Right? But to the larger thing though, in terms of impeachment, the fact that it was hearsay probably doesn't change anything, because the point that will matter will be whether or not he was intentionally withholding aid from Ukraine.
Ace trades at Lucas. It's not going very fast. Cover trade as quick as you can.
In an attempt to get them to investigate, right? That's the thing that kind of matters. If they can show reasonable that the reason they were withholding aid. Now, I think that storyline kind of falls apart because Ukraine didn't know that the aid was being withheld until like a month after that call, right? But there could be other shoes. I mean, there was 2 shoes that dropped just in the past 24 hours. So, but
Ace trades at Lucas. Was that profitable for you? Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. But I also feel what you're saying, Michael, because to me it's like when you find out that it was hearsay and that he went to Schiff before filing the whistleblower report and everything else like that, it's like, wow, the deep state really is after him.
I see. I still can't figure out what tipped you off to bet at that level, though. It worked for almost 1 point.
It's really good, right? He sees something. I've been trying to reverse engineer
YouTube
his
Ace
thing
Trades
too.
at Lucas. Glad you got the point.
I will watch. I'll like remember where he said it at, and then go back and watch the video and try and see what it is that he's seeing at that spot. What it is about it, and I cannot figure it out.
YouTube live action. Looks like Biden had that pay to play thing down too, like Hillary.
Right? Well, no matter what, Biden is finished, right? The Democrat race is actually turning out to be a little disappointing to me. It's just not turning into as exciting of a slog as I thought it would be, because Biden is essentially finished, right? I don't think that Kamala Harris is finished, but people have
YouTube
certainly
Lucas
left
at
her
Ace
campaign
Trades.
for
Hee hee,
dead.
thanks.
I think Kamala Harris could potentially still turn things around, but the problems that are dogging her campaign are more fundamental to who she is, particularly the fact that she says she was smoking weed and meanwhile was prosecuting people for it in LA. That's probably what's killing her right now, okay? But you never know. I wouldn't count her out, okay? But Biden is definitely out. And then Bernie with heart
YouTube Ace
stents.
Trades at Lucas. You can send me a photo of the Lambo.
I'm told that this surgery that Bernie Sanders had is not significant, but there's no way that people are going to elect him if he's having health problems like that. There's no way.
YouTube Lucas at Ace Trades. I think you should pick the color.
He is going to have a heart attack. Like that's the sort of stuff that's going on, right? He's going to have might have to get heart bypass surgery at some point. So I don't think that Bernie is going to make it. So when you take everything in the polling and everything, this race basically comes down to Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg, which is like, what? I don't even think that most people realize that yet.
At Lucas Hooker red like mine.
The market has not. I'm still long Buttigieg, so keep in mind I have a little bit of a bias there. But like right now, Predict It has Andrew Yang.
YouTube Lucas face with tears of joy. Face with tears of joy.
They have Andrew Yang with like a 10% chance of winning and Pete Buttigieg with like a 5 or 6% chance of winning. And probably it should be, I think it should be like 40% Warren, 35% Buttigieg, and then the rest in like the single digits. That's how I would rate it right now. So that's kind of the state of the Democrat race. It's not as interesting as we thought, right?
Ace Trades at Lucas lol. I drive a Pathfinder and an Outback lol. YouTube live action. Dem Congress is scared of Trump. What's scarier is if Trump and VP impeached Pelosi becomes president.
All right. You know what? Well, don't get me wrong. I really hate Pelosi. I think that is largely just being driven into me from watching her almost my whole life and all of the dirty tricks that they try to play and all of this. Yeah, I really don't like Pelosi. But I don't think it would be like at the end of the world if she became president. We would maybe just have a stable presidency until the election, and then she would pass off the gavel. And I don't think it would be the end of the world, but Elizabeth Warren as president, that concerns me. And here's the thing, because Elizabeth Warren says that she's not a socialist, that she's a capitalist.
YouTube Ace Trades. I'd take Seth's Rabbit as a president rather than the donkey in there now.
Right. I mean, the rabbit might not be a bad executive. I don't know. No, I just...
YouTube live action. Have to admit, pretty close lol.
Okay, 21 pulled. 21 is pulling. Dude, I never saw it click, but some of it pulled. I lost my train of thought there, guys. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, we were talking about Elizabeth Warren, right? So Elizabeth Warren, she says that she's a capitalist. I appreciate that. But the issue that I have with Elizabeth Warren isn't so much that I think that she's a socialist, as much as it is that I think that she is an ideologue that thinks she knows a lot about policy and has no real practical experience. And so it's akin to, what Stalin would do. She's going to come in and she's going to do a policy, and then that policy is not going to work. And she's going to go, she's not going to accept it. she's going to say, well, we just didn't do this wrong, or the evil capitalists are fighting against us. That's what always happens in the communist economies, right? And that really concerns me. I don't think that she is a person that would do the right thing when she's
YouTube
wrong.
Ace Trades at Lucas switch to Sim and put a short order at 2918.50 for fun. Hold through open.
This is what I like about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a very stubborn person. But when the polling comes and is, the internal polling shows that a particular policy is hurting him, they make a messaging change. They do. When he had a campaign manager and they weren't doing as well as he thought they should be doing, he would fire the campaign manager. He fires people. He fires people all the time. He's able to change his mind, even though he is extremely stubborn too. And that is the thing that I really like the most about Donald Trump. That is not common. And I feel that Elizabeth Warren is the other side of the spectrum, that she will stick to something when everything says that it's a bad idea. Okay. So they're moving because of the E-mini here. Good grief. Well, if we're going to have that kind of a volatility, maybe I should just take it off.
YouTube Lucas at Ace Trades lol. No, I'm afraid of picking up bad habits. I'm strictly placing trades I only would on live.
Yes. Take it serious.
YouTube Ace Trades at Lucas lol. Okay, it didn't work out anyway.
Okay, so the initial, we need to move this down so we can see. The initial move in the E-mini was a buy, which that's the first time we've seen that in like 2 weeks. Oh man, it just sucks to see like 3 or 4 ticks go that quickly. You know what I mean? I would still like to see this to there or higher. I really think we could get to, we could even get up here. I think we could even make a new high potentially. Maybe not though. Maybe they're too constrained. I don't know. That move though, that was an awfully unusual move in treasuries for them to move that extremely based off of what the E-mini is doing. Based on my signal, though, it still kind of still suggests that we could go higher. Well, I take that back. I probably should have taken it off at 20.5 when it was up there. I wasn't paying close attention there. But then it way overextended on the other side. Okay, so now the E-mini is going. Huh. Wow. Really? This is weird. You would think that the treasuries would be willing to move on their own. That's the thing that I find particularly odd about this situation. Did I not post my post? I did post a post, but it's not showing up under the filter for some reason. US stocks open with gains. Okay. Well, now they're doing buy all of the things. I'm okay with that. Buy all of the things by all means. Okay, iceberg at 21. Pretty big one, too. That sucks. Hmm. So that was another event, but it's basically doing so in chop. What? Okay, so that tick up had a little bit of what do you say? Urgency, craziness to it. Like that's moving like that we're in a fast market all of a sudden. The way that the bids and offers are changing really rapidly and so forth. The E-mini sure is going. Well, it's about 7 points higher, and it's not turning around yet. Maybe Ace will give us another short, though, at some point. I would like to know. Hmm. Okay, so that is another new
YouTube
high.
Ace Trades. They got nothing. Sorry.
I'll just wait for it. They might not do it. It might be buy all of the things. It might be buy all of the things, but the yeah, I don't know. Oh, that was 32.19 at 22. Did that just print? That didn't just print. I think that I seeing things. I think that must have been there before. I thought that it ticked up and then it ticked down and there was 32.19. I'm like, there's no way. That's a lot.
YouTube Ace Trades. I can't imagine the big boys clicking in and out right now. So choppy. Who is moving the market in this volatile time?
It is a little odd, isn't it? But this is where it gets back to, the expectation was 145. I think that everybody expected that number to miss. So we have to discount it to 135. So at 135, if that was the expectation and then it's an equal, there's so many people playing it on maybe even both ways. You kind of get this mishmash of chaos where the market doesn't really know what the right pricing is. Clearly, I still firmly believe at this moment, and so far I feel that the price action is confirming what I'm saying, but this could fall apart really quickly, so I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch or anything like that. But I believe that the personal income numbers, am I reading that? Is that correct? Average hourly earnings, rather. Average hourly earnings being 0 instead of spot 3 is a very bad number, and treasuries should be moving up. Now, for equities, I don't know what that means because the equities seem to think that any buying in the treasuries is great. So I don't know. Really? Okay. So they just stacked like 3,000 there at 22. And now they're stepping up to
YouTube
it.
Ace Trades pullback trade possible at
Whoa. Whoa, wait,
2,925.00,
what?
but I wouldn't touch it.
He moved it up to 22 half. That's one I have not seen before. This might be
YouTube
going.
Ace Trades rest my point.
It already went through. Okay, look, they bought 22 and it only took 89 contracts to do it. Is he going to pull this or move it again? Or is there going to be an iceberg at 22? Or is there going to be a collision? I say, why not? Okay, he pulled it. He pulled it, but they didn't hit it. Well, now they're hitting it, but it didn't clear. Come on, come on. I mean, it's good that there's a lot absorbing there, but the downticks and everything, that's not what you want to see. Okay, so now they're doing this thing again. I don't know, guys. Okay, now equities are starting to look a little scary because there was that huge move up and they've formed a, kind of a reversal pattern and the cumulative delta has completely come off. So it appears that they are turning into they might be turning into full sell mode. I could only hope. But that means I got to be cautious because that's I'm just seeing what I want to see. They could totally negate that and push up to a new high. There's no reason that they couldn't do that. At the moment, though, I like what I see there. Thing is I'm still getting furious action around this 22. Good uptick. Good uptick. 1598 into it. 22 half, huh? This could be a 5K iceberg potentially at 22.5. E-mini is selling again. They bust the bottom here. The bottom is 22.75. There's 3,000 at 22.5. Okay, it was 34. Strong uptick again. The 23 didn't completely pull. In fact, do I see anything? Nah, I do see some stuff at 24. Does this pull? Once you get above, well, okay, so how long has that 28 been there for? That's been there for a while. Probably ever since we came down through it. Hmm. So there's that. I don't think that this is going to happen, but they could totally do it. And there they are in the evening. You're like right back up there. But treasuries still seem to be buying. That uptick was okay. E-mini came back down there pretty quickly, didn't it? Still haven't busted the bottom of this range, though. Hmm. Flip. Briefly, though. When they put 1,000 on there, that pulled, and then they switched back again. Okay. I just looked at the time and realizing that it's 7:48, and I'm like, wow, this is a really long session. Kudlow says U.S. poised for a much stronger economy just as soon as QE4 is launched next month, says Zero Hedge. Okay, if Kudlow is speaking on television, I don't know if I want to be in a trade anymore. Geez. The issue, though, is that I have such a good spot, you know? The real trouble, factually, is the collapse of the European economy. They're not cutting taxes and deregulating. Desk, desk. That's the problem, guys. Those Europeans aren't conservative enough. They need to adopt supply side economics. Also, they need to stop, cheating on trade. That would be nice too. I'm speaking as Larry Kudlow there. I can't do a Larry Kudlow accent, but that's what he's thinking. Man. Well, we've been rotating around this 22 for quite some time now. It is actually now the point of control. I still feel like treasuries should be higher, but there might be a pullback here, and I don't want to make the same mistake we did last time. It might already be too late. Sell the E-mini, sell it. Okay, uptick. It's starting to look like the false breakout. E-mini's threatening. It's close. I still haven't gotten a clear exit signal anywhere in here either. About as clear, about equal to what got
Twitch
us in, I
XD underscore
suppose.
Shampers. Hello, darling.
Hello, darling. Well, thank you. That's a new one. I'm not called darling very often.
Twitch XD underscore Shampers. What's your social security number?
Why would I give you my social security? So is that what you do, is you go around to different random streams and you ask people what their social security number is? That's kind of weird, man. It's a little weird.
Twitch XD underscore Shampers. Ha ha ha, I am just kidding.
Of course you're kidding.
Twitch XD underscore Shampers. I mean, yeah.
Kind of.
Twitch XD underscore Shampers. Kind of.
Okay, hold on. We got to really watch this. Okay. That uptick was meh, but 21.5 is stacking.
Twitch XD underscore Shampers. Easy money, you know.
Oh. Yeah, that would be easy money.
Twitch XD underscore Shampers. Wait, what's going on here?
So we're trading the 10-year Treasury Futures. We had a really big number today. The market has kind of been whipping all over the place. We tried to buy it towards the bottom, and so far we're in a pretty okay trade. I might take it off in this area, but I'm not getting a clear, like, it's finished signal. Okay. So that's interesting that it's fighting at 22 now. There's a possibility that we have another extension and that they try and make a push towards the highs, especially if the E-mini decides to sell here. At the moment, though, I don't know. So there's 2,000 at 21.5. Man, if I could see a stack and that could stack to 2,500 or something like that, that could be really positive. If you could, sir. Mr. Market Maker, please.
Twitch XD underscore Shampers. Low key got no idea what any of this means.
That's okay.
Twitch XD underscore Shampers bet.
Well, here's how you look at it. See this column right here? See this
Twitch
column?
XD underscore Shampers. You seem like you know what you're doing though.
Oh, thank you. So that tells us how much money we make if it gets there.
Twitch XD underscore Shampers. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what you're looking at. So the higher this gets, the more money we make. But this thing over here is kind of inversely correlated to us. So if they push new highs, for instance, we're doing okay. And they do seem, there is some fishy buying in the ESO. But if this moves down, this could move up. That's good too.
Twitch XD underscore Shampers. So you're getting people's social security number as well?
No, this is honest work. Listen, trading the futures, the most honest work you can do. Okay, it's hard work.
Twitch XD underscore Shampers. Just a lot more complicated.
Being a local, those guys have such an advantage over you. It's hard. I've been having a hard time today. I've been nervous. I'm still nervous, like my mouth is dry. Can you hear it? I'm sure that's a lovely sound.
Twitch XD_Shampers. Wait, hold on.
Are they gonna pull 22.5 or
Twitch
what?
XD_Shampers. What are you trading?
Thank you. We're trading 10-year Treasury Futures. Symbol ZN. Okay, they took that. 500 is acceptable bid, but that's not that doesn't hold. But they don't offer a lot either. They ticked into 23. 3 orders at 23 to be exact. This really does look like buy all of the things, doesn't it? U.S. team going open-minded into trade talks next week. Okay. Good deal. Secretary of State Pompeo say China's strategy to secure infrastructure deals bribe heavy. Yes. You noticed the things that China tries to use to try and get the trade deal, for instance, saying that they will buy things. Listen, China, if you want to get a trade deal done, change your intellectual property laws. That's pretty simple. But instead they want to like bribe us or something.
YouTube live action. No stress trades are in the soybeans China buying. Buy stop the open each am.
Oh geez, really? I haven't looked at a soybean chart in a while. Well, they continue to whipsaw back and forth at 22 quite healthily. Keep in mind that was the price before the news. So if they start moving up here, we could get a crazy stop run higher. There is a lot of volume short from the top. Pullback gives some room or upside here, so betting res won't hold. Oh, there's some. I was like, how come no volume is going into 22 again?
YouTube K9. Hey Seth, do you use volume in your profiles from the overnight session or just the cash sessions?
Good question. My profile for the treasuries is from the extended session. In ES, it resets when they open. Honestly, I don't watch the profile a whole lot, but I don't know. I don't know if at least in the way that I use it, the difference between them is not significant. Okay, so that was not a positive downtick for us. 2 downticks, so that's very bad. New highs in the mini, by the way. Okay. Buyer's a little bit more sheepish now, in fact.
YouTube Brian, the 1st of October 2019 WTF is this?
Oh, you know what? I never changed the date. Thank you for pointing that out.
YouTube live action. Beans have already moved a lot this month. Have to be more careful now.
Well, I'm not too happy with that. Could be. It's still not. Well, there was this spot right here. It's not giving me a whole lot of direction. Okay, so what's the 4th, right? Let's change that. 4. It's actually the past few. That it's the 1st tells you that I've forgotten to change it. Well, we've been trading 4 times now. What? Hmm. Yes, it's just buying. Some pulls. Not a lot of volume
YouTube
hitting it
Brian, nice, the
though.
title changed already with no refresh.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting the way that works, huh? Ah, man. So nobody they gave them an easy trade into 20 half and they didn't trade into it. They're doing it at 20 as well. Well, okay. Larry Kudlow might have just said something really positive. Yeah. There's despite this move down, activity is actually appears to have decreased. Okay. Now they're clicking a lot again. And they tick back up. Good. Is aggressive take there at 21. It seems that the inverse correlation with ES is in there, but there's also fundamental reason for treasuries to move up. So you get this thing where the ES makes a new high and it comes back, but then the treasuries recover it back out fairly easily. That said, 1358 is quite a bit. Hmm. I also can see that the way that the 30-year came up to that 20 was a little fast and gappy. I'm just noticing this right here. When they came down, the interest in the 30-year decreased. Another uptick. Another good uptick. Put in 900 behind it. Getting some currency moves here. And they all look pretty doing the same similar thing to what we're doing here in the treasuries. So even gold is. Oil doing okay today. Strong uptick. Okay. So they tried a strong take at 22.5. Okay, that one was strong. 23 was the top. If they can take that one like the rest of these and low this, it's pulled. They're not really putting that much liquidity above us. There's not stuff until you get to 25, and then there's probably still that big one at 28. Yeah. Okay, good. Let's reset. So that's a new high. You know what? We never moved this. We should move this to at least here. Right. Right. Okay, that's a good. Okay. So a little bit of stoppy action there at 24, but not causing a signal. And a strong bid at 23.5 now as well. Yeah, we pulled. Yes, turning a bit again. So now we get to, okay. So there was at 26.5, there was a pivot. There's also that 25.5. Good tick. It's not pulling 25 though. Some stops into it, but it's not pulling it. Okay, that's better. It's profit taking there at 25. For sure. ES has some size here between 29 and 28 that they're going into. They already traded through a 600 lot here at 29, 30, 25. Okay. Still not. So I feel like just based on how far we've gone, that a pullback somewhere around here would be appropriate. But I'm not getting any kind of sign that they're done. And in fact, if the E-mini continues moving down here, and I'm still getting that robot doing the weird stuff there at 25. I should move this up, by the way. What's Scary say here?
YouTube, Gary Rich, please no disrespect. There is a 10 years T-note VIX, TYVIX CBOE.
Oh,
It spikes 10 years yield jumps. Just like VIX spikes S drops. The pros track and trade it.
interesting. I had never heard of that before. Well, it looks to me like 25 is the new 22. Hmm. So there is a spread robot hitting into 25 here. Well, I don't know if it's a spread. I don't see him going in any of the other instruments, but there is some sort of a robot buying at 25. Still. I mean, then it's a zipper. I could take it off here for sure. But I'm just surprised that I haven't gotten like a big event anywhere in here. There's an iceberg at 24.5. I don't know if the E-mini is ever going to turn into strong selling today. Kudlow says deputies in U.S.-China trade talks to meet Monday and Tuesday. Principals to meet on Thursday and Friday. Well, that's going to set up an interesting week for us. Good uptick. There was 27.33 sitting on there at 25, huh? Is there going to be some sitting at 25 half? No. Okay. So some more frantic
YouTube,
action
Gary
there.
Rich, golden rule on volatility. High volatility like VIX can only maintain its extreme for short periods of time. Time can be configured with realized volatility analysis.
That's for sure. I'd definitely say that for sure. So are you saying that the VIX is spiking super high in treasuries right now, I would assume, right? Because we've moved so far. Because then at that point, I would be asking myself, well, what was like the spikes in the VIX when they were really buying up before Donald Trump got elected, right? When you get those really big spikes up in treasuries, what does that thing do? Wow, that's a lot of volume trading at 25. Hmm. New point of
YouTube,
control
Lucas,
at
new
25.
POC at 250.
And you know what the point of control moving up means, right? Yep, he already said it. Might go higher. The Discord robot's being a little slow.
YouTube, Lucas, might go higher.
Oh no, they sold 24 half. No. We might want to take it off there at 25, to be honest. Just because, well, not only because we got the 2 ticks down, but because it's coming close to my time, you know? I really think that I could get 30, though. And we'll see. You can get an uptick here? Please, sir, please.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, 45 minutes into the ES red and it's a 3 Xanax morning.
It's a 3 Xanax
YouTube,
morning.
Gary Rich, yes. It's an index. You can download the data for it. Day by day and where it opens and closes. You will see turns at the bottoms and definitely the tops.
A little bit of a stack at 24.5 that I'm unhappy about. Sell the E-mini, sell it. If they could make it turn right there at 29.30 and bring it back down to 29.27 and push lower, that would be very technically destructive and would make me very happy. Interesting. So much volume at 25, and now that we've come out and we've come lower, no volume. Not a whole lot in the level 2. Well, maybe in the 5-year. 5-year may be indicating that it was like a false breakout sort of a thing. If it comes back up into there, probably it's going to go through. Okay, E-mini's trying to sell.
YouTube, Gary Rich, the ES is vulnerable to swings because we are in blackout for buybacks.
Oh, yes, good point. Good point, Gary. Now some volume. What's going on here in the 5-year? Level 2 flipped there. Clicky click. So somebody just added some at 24. Somebody just added 1,000 at 24. Wow. And the robots aren't reacting to that? There you go. I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? That is an easy buy, guys. That man. I'm just telling you guys, if you see 1,000 add to the inside, I mean, it's not like a for sure thing, but I would be on your toes, okay? Because that is a, you know, okay, listen, if somebody adds 3,000, 3 ticks out, like that gives them plenty of time to pull it, right? But if they add 1,000 on the inside, they want it. You don't stick that there unless you think that either it's going to get executed and you're totally okay with buying that much, or you think that they're going to push up and it's just going to hold it. So you take note when they put 1,000 on there.
Lucas, not if the offer absorbs above really heavy, then you have been tricked into a lured lull.
Well, sure. I'm just saying it's going to do something. And even if it did do that, like in that kind of a situation, I wouldn't have been surprised if to have seen 3,000 here trade and then them still trade up and go through to 25 and 25.5.
YouTube, Lucas, true. YouTube, Gary Rich, it's all about the earnings going forward. The economic data is fairly known and relatively priced in on a forward basis.
Now, the split side of that is that it was kind of ended up being a stop run and they didn't make a new high, which I find a little disappointing. And the E-mini is still going sideways here. The E-mini is kind of turning into a meat grinder, in fact. And I myself need to pee. Yes, I know that you didn't really need to hear that, but my gosh. We have been sitting, how long have we been in this? Over an hour. This is one of the longest trades I've ever held. This is a trade that I've wanted to make for a long, long time. And I would just really like to get a good exit here on this. If they could give me a clear exit, I'd be really happy. For now, though, they're still kind of playing coy. That 5 years seems to be like we keep getting big offers on the 5 year and they're like afraid to go at it. Like if they trade into 047, get what I'm saying? See what they can't quite seem to do it. Well, that was a really weak offer. That whoa, okay. What? Okay, that's really positive. Yeah. I like that. Well, they took the 047. They're still not pulling in the 5 year. Come on. Let's get this party on the road. I want to buy. Okay. Awesome. What? We might be getting level break activity in here. 23.5. Mm-hmm. That stacking of liquidity there is really positive. I mean, if we take another leg up and I see stacking again, then I could probably hold it for even more. But I also know right there at 16 ticks that they're going to make it hard for me.
YouTube, live action. I read somewhere that next week chance for rate cut 75%.
Yeah, I think the number that we saw somebody I haven't pulled up the tool. Actually, did I close it? Yeah, I closed it. We're going to pull it up a little bit later. I think they're at 80% right now. And I say that's not high enough. Well, not that one. The one that I'm interested in is the December rate cut, because they're saying 40% chance that we will be at one rate cut and 40% chance that we'll be at two rate cuts. And I say that it's probably should be more like a 60% chance that we'll be at two. Because, come on, average hourly earnings increased 0%. 0%. So there is literally no wage inflation right now. Literally none. you can cut as much as you want at that point. Like, seriously, that is like you just keep cutting until you see that number get back up to spot 3. And since the markets are all kind of showing risk, I think well, like we've got the Federal Reserve Chairman speaking at noon, right? I wish I could stick around for that. But I think that we're going to cut this off here at some point. It might just be at 16 because it is about time to go. Sweet. That can go further. I really think 30 is possible. I really do. Call in sick. Yeah. You know what, though, Lucas?
YouTube, Lucas, call in sick.
Because it's whenever we get to this point, that's always the thought on my head is, well, I could work from home. But the problem is that whenever I do that and I start trading past this time.
YouTube, live action. Someone said the game right now are the central banks.
There's definitely given me, yeah, I don't know. The thing is that at 25, this both this one, man, I've got a bunch of thoughts going through my head. Let me collect myself for a second, okay? This right here, I'm going to change the name of this one. 16 tick winner. We're going to change the name of it so for the future so that we know how amazing today is. And everybody be like, wait, what? He got a 16 tick winner? I got to watch this one. Okay. Anyways, now I'm going to make this big so we can review, okay? I took one when it was at 18. So I took it down here. And remember, the signal is increased level 2 activity, especially if there is no institutional activity and then all of a sudden they pop in. So that's why I bought. I bought it and I made 8 ticks. And then it came back down to my stop. That sucks, okay? But was there a clear signal up in here? Not really. Suppose you could have said that when it comes out that you want to take it off, but yeah. Okay. So let's just say probably we should have moved our stop up, but that one just didn't work out very well. Okay. Came back down, and we took that one at... Where did we take the second one at? Where did we take the second one at? Where is it? 18 again. No. That's not right. Placed. Cancel. Fill. 18. Placed. 710. Correct. Okay. So it came back down here.
YouTube, Lucas, it was 18 as well.
Yeah. I think that we waited until it was here. And we got, yes, right here. See the little spike? And the increase in institutional activity as well. That's where we bought it. Okay. Ever since then, it's been difficult, hasn't it? Because there's been a lot of spikes. But you see this one right here. And a range, and at 22, we probably should have taken it off. That was an exit signal. I don't quite know how I knew. I mean, the E-mini was moving up, and I said, well, the E-mini can move up, and it'll push us down a little bit, but we'll still come back up. I think I got lucky there. I think there was a lot of luck involved in this. But for it to have gone, did you get a buy signal down in there? This one was the no signal, right? I said that actually I didn't say that it was the no signal, but remember when I pointed out here in the 30-year, they came down, and what happened to the level 2? They weren't as interested. So that's like the no signal reversal that is going to go higher. Anyways, now that we're up here, okay, I took it off at 26. There's maybe another tick there, but seeing this tick here in the 5-year and all of that says to me that that particular rush is over and I'm getting out at the right spot. But I also was like, if I can get 16, I probably should. But look, that bid is still there. That bid is still there. So if I continue trading, I think I could continue to buy it. I think that we could see 30. Oh, he's not even there anymore. Ah, interesting. Okay. I think that 30 is likely. I think that a test of the high of the day is possible. I think that a move to 04 half target is kind of the highest that I would really be confident about saying, but
YouTube, live action, THX Seth, I took a lamig on that bid you caught.
wow, thank you. Don't take trades based on me though. Please don't put don't hey, listen, if you took a trade because you saw something there, then congratulations to you. Shouldn't have anything to do with me. Don't take trades based off of what I'm doing because again, like I say every day, what I do is very, very specific to me and my circumstances. Okay. I can only trade the first 2 hours. That's a really big part of it. Okay. I only want to trade the really liquid instrument. That's a big part of it. I'm only taking order flow signals. I'm ADHD. I have a hard time focusing. That's a big part of it. When I get losers, it can be hard for me to maintain my focus. You know, there's a lot of things about the way that I trade that are so specific to me that maybe you should change, you know? Maybe you can take a bigger stop, or maybe, you know, maybe you can hold on to things longer through pullbacks than I can. I don't know. But if I'm buying it and you're like, I want to buy it, and then you see somebody else buying it and like it kind of all coincides with like what your plan is and you take it, then that's cool. And then I say, congratulations to you. Don't thank me. It was all you, man. I'm glad that we did well. And it sounds like Lucas caught a little bit of that short in ES, right? So we're happy about that. And thanks to Ace for helping confirm that one for us. The E-mini may yet file apart. I don't know. They're still buying it though. Look, like I said, I'm still seeing stuff that says that it can keep going. That it can keep going. I see no reason for this to stop. Okay. Yeah, I do think that we're going to get a pullback
YouTube,
here.
Gary Rich, I hear Adderall helps focus. Everyone seems to be on it. LOL.
I do take Adderall in the morning. Yeah, I mean it's a real thing. Well, a lot of people abuse Adderall and it really makes me upset because it is a thing that some people need. Personally, I think it's a complicated subject because you know
YouTube,
what?
Lucas, every morning.
Yeah, I take 5 milligrams every morning. I'm on something called Strattera or atomoxetine, and what it is it is an antidepressant level of drug or style of drug, and what it does is, I'm gonna draw a picture, guys. I'm gonna draw a picture, okay? This is gonna be dumb, but whatever. Okay, here's how ADHD works. Okay, you have a nerve cell like this. And then I think that you have like a thing like this. Okay. So, an electrical signal comes through to this nerve. Will it trigger this nerve? Okay. Well, there's these things in here. Okay. There's norepinephrine, there's dopamine, and what's the last one? Serotonin. Okay. These are the three main neurotransmitters. There's many, many more. Okay. But those are the three main ones. Okay. And there's these little receptor things like this. Okay. That the norepinephrine sits in. Okay. And if it's in there, then when the signal comes through here, if it's in there, it's going to go into this little thing and it's going to trigger it. So the more of the neurotransmitter that you have in this cleft, the more likely the signal is to trigger. So for people with ADHD, there are two problems that you can get, and they've actually narrowed this down into specific genetic abnormalities, I guess you could say, that can cause these problems. One of them is that there's just not as much stuff in here, and I definitely will get that, okay? But then the other thing is that there's these little vacuums. There's these little vacuums, and the little vacuums are there to suck up the norepinephrine so that it doesn't get too much, right? Because if it got too much, then that's where you get things like seizures, right? The nerve cell is too sensitive and the brain cell is just triggering all the time and it keeps cascading through your brain and it can't stop because there's too much neurotransmitter in the cleft, okay? So you need these vacuums, but some people with ADHD have too many of them, right? So, and this is the main problem that I have, is that I have too many of these. And so what atomoxetine does is it blocks some of these so that they don't vacuum up the neurotransmitter and there's more of the neurotransmitter in there. And then because of that, it also causes the brain to produce a little bit more norepinephrine. Now, there's other things that can cause norepinephrine, okay? For instance, somebody comes in and says, wow, Seth, that was an amazing trade. You're so great. I really enjoy being in your room. Social praise, it causes a boost of norepinephrine. Feels really good. That's the thing you notice. I do seem to be a little bit driven by, social praise. Look, it does appear to be coming back down. They are doing the pullback. Maybe you could buy 27. I don't know. It's when you get the signal. See, it's giving you the signal, but you usually want to wait because when they push, it can go through. So if you see a stop run down in here, then you won't buy it. Or that's the way that I trade it. Like I said, it's still like a 50-50 sort of a thing, but I digress. Anyways, so I take the atomoxetine, and that plugs up some of those vacuums and helps me have more of this. And because it's an antidepressant style of a medication, you have to let it build up in your system over a couple of days, but then it's function all the time. Okay. But I have found that I still don't quite get enough. And the atomoxetine.
YouTube, live action. Seth, you're the best trader in the world.
Oh, thanks. Shucks, guys. You're so Okay, so anyways, atomoxetine works primarily on norepinephrine. While I'm also low on the dopamine. Dopamine is kind of like the one that when you get a rush, an adrenaline rush, like, people that are low in dopamine tend to be thrill seekers. Okay, so I don't get enough of that, but the lack of that is not nearly as bad as the norepinephrine, and the atomoxetine doesn't do anything for that. So I take just a little bit of dopamine, or a little bit of Adderall, and Adderall is better at creating the dopamine. And I don't need very much, like literally only 5 milligrams. I was at one time before I took the atomoxetine, I was taking like 10 milligrams of Adderall. And then I took 15 and that was like, oh, so tense. it would make me so tense. I was so miserable. And every time that I come off of it, I would go into depression every day. It was so awful. So I usually only take it once in the morning, and that's enough to get me through the day. But it's definitely a thing like around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. There is still a half life with atomoxetine, and so my norepinephrine levels are significantly lower at that time. And because it's falling, it makes you sleepy. So like every day at 5 o'clock, I no matter what I'm doing, I find it really hard to stay awake. And then I tend to be a little grumpy around 10 o'clock. Like you notice some of my worst trades I've made around that 10 o'clock time. That's why it's like, it would be nice to be able to stay home and trade until 9:30. But after that, I very rarely take good trades after 9:30 my time. Or let's put it at lunch. I very rarely take good trades after lunch. I think maybe part of that is that when you get into a trade after lunch, it's because you didn't do very well earlier. You're trying to make it back. I digress. So yeah. Now the thing is that the effect that Adderall has on you is
YouTube, Gary
go on.
Rich, loud cheers. Oh, sorry, breathe, count to 10. We all have great brains, if not, we wouldn't be trading markets.
Maybe. I mean, the thing is that you don't necessarily have to be brilliant to be a good trader. I always put that out there because the best traders that I've met, listen, I'm a very cerebral person. I don't think that necessarily means that I'm smart. I haven't taken a IQ test as an adult. Maybe I should. I don't think it really matters and it costs money, so I don't know if I would ever do it. But I'm pretty sure that when I was a kid and I took an IQ test, that I came out like pretty much average. Okay. I might have some things that going for me, but then I have ADHD and that hurts. That'll hurt your IQ score. So I digress. I don't think I'm brilliant, but some of the traders that I've met that are really, really good at this, they're not like these cerebral mathematical people. They are like really down to earth, like Middle Eastern normal people, just like normal Americans. They're not sitting there like deep analysis or anything. It's just they just have watched it and they know what they're looking for.
YouTube, Ace Trades, I'm back. What did I miss?
I took the profit on the 16 ticker. And I said that it probably could keep going. It did go for another 4 ticks. Would have liked to have caught those other 4 ticks, but I think I did the right thing. The thing is it at where was it, 26? It didn't exactly give me a clear exit signal per se, but it was far enough that I figured it was prudent to take it off. So I told myself if I got a 16 tick winner that I would take it off. But the other thing was, as I said, if you get 24 ticks within 30 minutes, you should take it off.
YouTube live action reminds me of the Turtle Traders bet.
The Turtle Traders
YouTube
bet?
Ace Trades short pullback trade 2923.50.
But anyways, to the Adderall thing, that the side effects of Adderall are extremely manageable, and the truth of the matter is that a large part of the population probably could use Adderall as a performance enhancer, and it would be a really good thing, except for that it's habit forming. Now, for me, it's not habit forming. For me, with ADHD, I cannot take it, and I really don't care. But for some people, for a good most people apparently, you get such a feel good feeling from the dopamine that Adderall gives you that it becomes habit forming, and you want to take more and more because your body gets used to it and adjusts to it, and then it can become very dangerous. And that's why it's such a heavily regulated drug, is because of the addiction properties of it. So it's kind of unfortunate to me. But then it also makes me really mad because it's like, for somebody that definitely has ADHD, because people abuse it, it makes it a lot harder for you, because like people will say, well, you probably don't actually have it. Or they say, oh, it's not really a thing. That's the one that really drives me nuts. Is like, okay, like they've like
YouTube,
isolated
Gary
down
Rich,
the
many
genes.
students and journalists are on Adderall.
Yeah. They've isolated down the genes that cause this, and it's one of the most well understood mental psychological disorders that we have. And to say that it's not even actually a thing is just so ignorant. But yeah, I'm sure that probably a lot of journalists and students are. Probably. And here's another thing.
YouTube Ace trades at Gary Rich. Your mom's on Adderall.
Your mom.
YouTube
Wait, what
live
does he say?
action. The bet was 1 million that anyone off the street could be taught to trade successfully in short order.
I don't know if anybody on the street could be taught, but I think that there are some personality traits that give you a big leg up for sure. But probably anybody could. It's like that movie, Ratatouille, right? Where the chef, and at the very end he was saying that that doesn't mean that anybody could be a chef. Like every individual person can do it. Only so many people are actually
YouTube,
going to
Gary
do it.
Rich at Ace. How did you know? Did you hack my Alexa?
But the one that can be successful, that 5% of traders that actually end up making it could be anybody. They don't have to be smart. They don't have to come from a certain background. They don't have to have a certain personality. It can be all different kinds of types. But I digress. I also, you'll notice, because trading.
YouTube, Mike, Seth, I want to ask you a question about your recipe.
My recipe. Oh wait, we gotta go generate it. Sorry. Why am I doing this over here anyways? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. When you trade, okay, like that, being in a trade can be kind of intense. That kind of gives you a little bit of norepinephrine. Getting a winning trade, that's kind of like a little bit of a praise. That gives you some
YouTube Ace
norepinephrine,
trades at
dopamine.
Gary Rich. I'm looking at you right now through your camera. I got a buddy in the FBI who monitors your computer. Nice room. Could you tidy up?
You should.
Lol.
Should be careful. Ace has got friends everywhere.
YouTube, wrong ZH. Seth, did you get the 16 ticks?
I did.
I'm backtesting new ideas here.
I did get the 16 ticks. But I held through more than one swing, so that was a little unusual for me. I should have taken
YouTube,
the 8
Mike,
and then again.
what is it they're doing? YouTube, Mike, when the market ticks up or down, you're focused on changes in the order book. What are you looking for to confirm your entry? Around your stellar entry at 18 earlier, you said that they're doing it.
Okay, so when I say
YouTube, Gary Rich at Ace, let me change my diaper first.
all right, yeah, so let's get into that. So when I got into 18 and I said they're doing it, my memory is a little bit vague, but if I recall correctly, what I was seeing is this little spike here, right? So when I say they're doing it, what I mean is there's a lot of level 2 activity, okay? For whatever reason, maybe it's an algorithm just pumping orders in and pulling them. Maybe it's that a lot of retail traders are putting trades on, but for whatever reason, there's a lot of people taking trades, okay? And when you see a lot of orders put in a spot like that, the reason that it works is because by the very nature of the instrument, you're likely to move away from that spot, okay? That's what the edge is from there, we're going to move away, okay? But it's a reversal 60% of the time. If you take it and you do it 60% of the time, and then, you're trying to get 8 on it every time, you probably would not come out profitable. And that's why I feel so comfortable sharing this with you, is that then at that point, I am also watching the way that it's ticking up and down and the context, and I'm just kind of using my own intuition to figure out which way are the larger players actually trying to go, and then taking that way. So in this particular instance, I knew that we moved down after the news, even though the personal income number was really bad, and that should outweigh what we get on the jobs number and push us up to a higher level. And so I figured that the big guys are probably trying to absorb down here. And I actually do think that that is exactly what was happening, is because you can see when they came in here, they bought, and then look, it dropped down again, and then the buying comes in again. So they were probably buying through this whole thing and trying to be super sneaky about it. Well, look at that 25. Did we get some news there? Trump says a good deal with China could happen. Here we go. Okay, yeah. Don't want to be in. I don't want to be in a trade when Donald Trump is speaking. That makes the market action random, right? He lost $1 million simply because despite a new trader being told what to do, some traders would not follow the rules. Live action says, oh yeah, totally. Yeah, so I don't know, Mike, if that was a deep enough explanation, but the other half of it, other half of it is that you got to know which way it's going to turn, because sometimes we get those spikes and they push through. In fact, almost always when you get a spike, like when I did the testing, I would go in and I would say, okay, here's a spike. This is the price that it happened at. Okay. And then I would track it from there. Okay. What is the next swing? And we'll say that the next swing is up, but it almost always 2 ticks against you. Almost always. So that's pushing. And that means that if it's the right spot and they do a spike and they're pushing, like here is probably a good example. Yes, it is. So here we came down, there was a false breakout. We came back in and look, here he's pushing. And so of course he took the pressure off, but then they still moved up, right? So that would have been one that was a continuation. So you have to know, that's the discretionary part. That's the part that I can't really explain. I can tell you in the moment why I did what I did, but that's kind of the personal edge, the discretionary part. Mm-hmm. With timing, you get the feel sense, almost intuition of price action with order flow. Yes, and that's the other key, is that I'm gonna see that signal. That's gonna be like a key to me to like look, but the signal is not the signal. The signal is, okay, now you need to pay attention because you might be able to make a trade here, but now you've got to watch the order flow, and you've got to just have the experience seeing what it's doing to get an idea of, okay, if I see that and I see them fighting around, then maybe I would like to see the buyer lose first. I'd like to see the buyer lose first, get a stop run, and then if you get a stop run increases the chances of a reversal, okay? So if I wanted to buy anyways, and I got the signal, and then after the signal, 2 ticks and there's a stop run, then you buy it, right? Discretion. Anyways. And in terms of order flow, kind of one of the things that I'm looking kind of more on that is just like, okay, when they tick up or down, how much gets put on the bidder offer as they do so? Okay, right there, that time they ticked down and there was 2,000 behind it. That's pretty strong for a down, but then they absorbed into it. Okay, so those are the sorts of things, right? The more that they stack as they tick, the more likely it is to continue. The more that is absorbed, the less likely it is to go through. But then if they do go through, they will usually go through a little bit and maybe possibly range around that particular price. Is it the number of changes in the level 2 you are monitoring? The size added or taken away? Both. So I am looking primarily at the overall number of changes in the level 2, but I am also watching orders of a specific size, specifically to see if there is a change in what the larger traders appear to be doing. So with the original one, which I really thought was the better trade, I really sucks that I didn't take +8 on it. But, this one, notice, okay, here was the news. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. They're not in. Okay, then 5 minutes they show up. And then after 6 minutes, all of a sudden they're interested. Okay, they're buying it, probably. Anyways, What are some other things? That the stop runs are always, remember with a stop run that there's always a possibility of a reversal at a stop run. If you have a stop run and then it stops there and then they start trading into the next price and it's okay, then maybe that could continue. But the most probable thing to happen is what we saw just right there is stop run down, and then what happened? They ticked 3 ticks back up, right? Let's look at where we're at. Oh, no, wait. Let's post the Patreon notes. I'm getting distracted. I've got like 5 minutes. You got me monologuing. I don't know. I feel good. Yesterday I was feeling pretty bad for myself because I had 3 bad trades in a row. I think what I did today makes that all back. But this is kind of where in the past I've started to have trouble, as I'll do really, really well and then I'll stop doing well and I'll tilt. But now I feel like I've got things regimented so clearly down that I just have to stick with it, and eventually it turns out for me. Jigsaw has some really good videos explaining things on YouTube. Yes. Totally. Yeah. That's the thing that's so interesting about just if you're starting out now, just know, if you went out and you bought some super expensive education, yeah, there's probably a lot of things that they could teach you. There's probably a lot of things that I could teach you that would decrease the amount of time that it would take for you to become a profitable trader. But if I told you absolutely everything, and I was able to give you absolutely everything, then you wouldn't have the experience of figuring it out for yourself. And that means a lot. That means a lot, right? Because then you understand, oh, well, now I understand why so many people screw up on that thing, or why I had so much trouble with it, or whatever the deal is, right? Figuring it out on your own is important, and something that one way or another, even if you have an expensive education, you're going to have to figure out. And so if you're starting out, I would just assume that it's going to take you at least 3 years to even get like reasonably okay at it. And then even after that, it's maybe 50-50 as to whether or not you become consistently profitable. Make sense? That's just trading. I would only do it if you really, really love trading. Okay, so let's look at the week. If I come in and I give us from Tuesday to today, and I do everything. Okay. Wow, wait, really? No, that can't be right. Oh, there we go, 215. So does that mean I was actually negative before that trade? I think it is. Thus, all of this was super bad, right? That's 2, 3. So I actually, because of that one, I only came out +2 over yesterday. So it is a new high from the week, but it's only 2 ticks higher for the week. And it was an extremely unusual trade. So I'm very lucky. I tell you what, these trades right here shouldn't have happened. Those shouldn't have been 4 ticks. Can you imagine? That's like almost $100 right there that I gave up unnecessarily. This one, I don't know. I don't remember what happened with that one. This one I probably actually couldn't have avoided because it went so fast. But so I'm happy with my performance this week, but it shows us that we still have a little bit of work to do, doesn't it? I like they're buying it back up. I did say, hey, maybe you could buy it down here, didn't I? Right there. 25 half. Make sense? Teach me the ways. Just call me Quincy. Hey, thank you very much. Well, listen, I have every video for the past like 2 years now at this point on YouTube. So not only can you watch how I do things, but you can also watch how I came to that conclusion. So if I post levels, you certainly don't have to blindly trust them, but at least mark them on the DOM as reference points. Can't hurt better than a poke in the eye. Yeah, totally right. You know what, Algo Lover, I thought that your levels were really great. You were still looking for 132.04, right? I still think that that's a real possibility, except for that Donald Trump is speaking and is screwing everything up. I don't even know what he's saying. I'll probably get to work and watch it, but you don't want to be in. You could, I guess you could have taken this, but if Donald Trump is still speaking, you probably don't want to, because then you get this nonsense. Something in the news falsely, yeah. Well, Quincy, you came in the wrong time. You got to come in 8:20 Eastern time. That's when it really starts. If you gotta. That's the first thing. I think maybe that should be my next video. I don't know. What do you guys think? The next video could be why do most traders fail, or it could be the most important thing to become a profitable trader. But the other thing could just be health and routine for traders. You gotta wake up early. You just do. It sucks. Okay, so Alga Leather is posting some numbers. I'm sorry I have the voice thing off, but I was monologuing. It's time for me to go. So I'll see you guys on Monday. Yes, there's nothing weird going on Monday. It's October, of course. Yep, so I'll see you guys on Monday. And, I don't know. I just joined you, a random streamer. I'm bored. Hey, you know what, Quincy? I especially if you're younger, if you start trading when you're younger, you could get really good at it, and it could be a good career for you. So, find Speculator Seth on YouTube and take a look, or come back, And we have the Discord too, so we have the Discord in the video description. So if you guys want to talk some more, you can go there. All right, I'm babbling. Have a good one. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.